Welcome. And for those of my friends in the cheap seats in the back, welcome to the Remember When. As always, the Stanford grad, the sports law professor, the legal analyst, Deb.
It's going good. I always laugh at that.
Yeah, you're the one that you keep the ship rolling here, legally. Yeah. Good as our producer, Ray. I'm super excited for today's show. We have a great guest, country, lots of great music out. He's actually on tour and everything right now. We're going to dig into that, talk about how he got into country music, his move from Illinois to Nashville, all that stuff, and some great songs. I'm really excited.
You are a huge.
I am. But yeah, let's jump into it. Remember When podcast as .com and use the promo code Remember When, and you'll receive 10% off your order at Taguava with Taguava Coffee. Go to Taguava.com and use the promo. Yeah, let's get right into it because I want to spend as much time as we can with our guest, Eric. The year we chose is 2019 when Eric's debut song came out. So, as always, if you haven't listened, and if you haven't listened, we go back and forth with, and I try to steal hers.
Try to steal mine, yeah.
So, with that said, let's just jump into it. You can go first.
Okay. I'm going to go with the fact that we had our last normal year, but I'm going to go with when I'm going to steal this one from their logo on their chocolate bar. I know you're a big Hershey fan, big chocolate fan. They changed their logo on their classic Hershey bar to emojis for a limited period of 1900. They've been selling for 1900 with basically the same logo. 2019, they put those little emojis on.
Just in time because they needed one. Needed a facelift out there. This is a good one. For the first time in 2019.
That's a good one. Aston Martin put together the first sold 0 to 60 in less than 4 seconds, and the price $326.
That I saw that. I was an old teammate of mine with the Jets. Tossed me the keys to his Aston Martin. One day before we went on a month-long, vacation, and he just left, and I had his car for a whole month in the summer in New York City. So,
all right.
Yeah. So my second one is Queen Elizabeth II posted 19 sharing a photograph of a letter written to Prince Albert.
Wow. That was a good one. Okay. I'm going to go with, you know me, women, Christina Koch and Jessica Meyer, the first all-woman spacewalk in 2019 from the International Space Station.
I also scrolled by that one as well.
Okay, 1978.
Wow,
Yeah.
I did not know that. How,
Yeah,
crazy. Loved, arrested for Operation Varsity Blues.
That's a good prop too. I'm going to go with first times we're ever
I was like, oh, about that as well. Be disappointing.
Last one because I
Who won what?
the Game of Thrones.
I've never seen it.
Jon Snow, good old Jon Snow there ended up at Kingdoms, and Sansa becomes Queen of the North. Should have said that first. That was sold. It is the most expensive artwork ever sold.
Today. All right. My fifth one, you know, I'm gonna go in 2019 was Crazy Beautiful. I'll tell you, there's a lot of like I'm really excited about scrolling through Instagram one day. Really like this guy's voice on the show. Reached out how connected he is with his fans. 10 minutes. I'm going to do justice to introducing him, so I'm going to pass that to you.
Okay. I mean, he's huge in social media. In the top 30 in music country. The album was Pass It On, which was in 2019. Yes, Love It All Good, current song that you're working on, Eric, I believe, released on June 10th, 2022, and it is skyrocketing here. That's a big one. Although I will say I really do like Swing Low, sweet old Cadillac.
Hey,
Welcome.
welcome to the.
By the way, I know you want to know the price of gas 2019.
That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd like to say we've come a long way. Way with
Yes, I love it. And, you know, it's fun. It resonates with. And every summer we'll go to my grandparents' house, and this is how Saturday morning, like, turn the music you know, with me, um, because kids, you know, and my so when my cap is
with that. Yeah, well, that's relative to me. You resonate with that, man.
you know, like they will not get this. There's nothing better where
In the fall months and just throwing a big top, and that was that was from that.
It's always
Playing piano. Guitar. Um, for food. Music, I'm trying to write fish stand and play. I put my own spin on music. So
How you met your wife?
senior in high school, and she
Ooh.
Play the-
I was senior in high school. I joined a community theater production, and that theater company was actually like 10 minutes away from the college that she was going to, which was theater for college credit. Like they can do like outside stuff, and she gets credit for it. I was just doing it for like, it was that whole thing. Like, hey, I'm gonna try this singing thing out, and I want to learn how to act on stage, and like, use stage voice and all that. And so sure enough, she was in the same same rehearsal room as I was when the theater show started going. And we started talking, and eventually I went to the college she was going to, and she had me play piano for her like theater auditions and stuff. I was her accompanist.
And it led to the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it did. And it's been, so we had known each other for about 10 or 11 years before we started dating. So we were just friends in college. She wouldn't let me make quote unquote moves on her and kiss and stuff in college. Like I was trying to, she's like, no. And long story short, she ended up doing acting out in Hollywood for a couple years, like after I moved to Nashville. And she saw that I was in Chicago playing a show with this country artist, and she had recently moved back. And yes, it was like the day we met, man. It was really cool. We reconnected, and she moved to Atlanta for a job, which got her a little closer to Nashville, where I was. And then a year later, she moved to Nashville, and we got engaged, and then got married at the Country Music Hall of Fame.
That is awesome. So let's
There's a lot of history there. A lot of history there.
Yeah. I want to talk to her next.
Well, she's in the kitchen. I could. She might get a little mad at me for pulling her from her.
Yeah, don't pull her on the spot. I get it.
No.
So, you say you made the decision. In high school, you wanted to, be a musician.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not an easy path. You have to. You're probably working another job and playing music, to try to make it and everything. How was that like? Did you play locally in Illinois for a while before you made the move?
I did, man. Yeah, that's kind of a big part of it. And I know a lot of buddies of mine here in Nashville who are whether they're pursuing just the songwriting thing or the artist thing as well. Keeping ties with your hometown roots is so huge, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I loved going back to my hometown and playing shows almost every weekend or every other weekend. I was traveling back from Nashville to play some of the hometown staples, some bars back there, and whether it was like an hour or 2 hours from my hometown, and slowly but surely I would spiral outward from that central Illinois like pin drop, and I would play a little further east, like Champaign, Illinois, or a little more further east, like Indianapolis. And that was kind of my strategy. Like, okay, let's see, let's see if I can like send my song to like a radio station in Champaign, Illinois, in hopes of like a guy in Indiana to hear it, and maybe they book me and stuff. So there's a lot of strategy there. Obviously, working another job, I worked many jobs when I first moved to Nashville.
Okay, now there's a story. What was the funnest job that you worked beyond being on stage? Most interesting, maybe.
So yeah, before I moved to Nashville, get to the music world, because obviously I want to do music, and just surrounding myself with music all day, every day would be amazing. So my first job in Nashville was I was a houseman at the Nashville Symphony Center. And a houseman is like a guy that sets up for weddings and like events like that happen at the Symphony Center. So that was kind of like a weekday job for me, aside from this is gonna throw you through a loop, I think, but I was a piano player for the Nashville Ballet.
Okay.
I auditioned for Nashville Ballet to play piano because back in college I realized you can make money as a ballet pianist. And so before I moved to Nashville, I sought out these I was like, okay, I'm gonna find a church to play piano at. I'm gonna find a random job like the Symphony Center, try to like set up for weddings and events and stuff. Although I didn't know that's what I was gonna be doing until I like started the job. And then I'm gonna try to look for like a dance company to play piano for. And I got hired on at a church in the Nashville Ballet, and I was their piano player for a couple years.
So when you made that transition and you're playing around in Illinois, and you're like, okay, if I want to get serious, I'm going to move to Nashville and really pursue music. What was that decision like? And how was your family with that decision?
They were great. They were okay with it. They were beyond supportive, man. So kind of going off of the non-traditional route, kind of how I've been explaining, like, okay, I've had a job as a piano player for Nashville Ballet because I grew up playing classical music and I studied it in college, right? Well, I also auditioned for college here in town, Belmont University. I auditioned as a master's degree student because I was like, well, how can I like further my piano playing abilities while also writing songs during the day and being on the road on the weekend? And so I took the big risk of like taking out a big old loan for college for a master's degree. And I was doing that while I was writing music and being on the road. And my parents were like, are you sure you want to do that? Like, you sure you want to do like your master's degree and also chase this, I'll put crazy dreamers. I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. And I wouldn't trade a single step of the way. It's been amazing from the people I've met and the opportunities I've been given. And I felt like I was really using my like the foundation of my piano playing, because I grew up playing Billy Joel and all that stuff, but I also grew up playing Beethoven and Chopin and Bach and all that stuff. I value as a piano player because I believe, it teaches you stuff like, posture and skills.
Yeah.
I'm sitting up straighter now.
Yeah. Once they say posture, everyone's like, okay.
Well, that's coming from a piano teacher too. I also taught piano while I don't teach piano anymore, but I shed light on loosen your shoulders.
So then you get to Nashville, you're doing all these things.
All these things.
And what's your big break?
Man, for a couple years I was meeting with publishers and different managers, and always meeting new songwriters, because co-writing is a huge thing here in Nashville, and collaborating with other songwriters. Like I've written a handful of songs just by myself, but almost all the songs you hear are like me and another person, or me and two other people, because we just kind of like bounce ideas off each other. But anyway, all that time I was building up, my database of like managers and people I could call. But I met this one guy who actually I was connected with via my alumni department at my college that I went to in Illinois. And that guy was Matt McClure. Matt is Grammy award-winning producer.
Yep.
But more than that, he's a great friend, and he's a farm kid like myself. And he actually grew up 40 minutes from my hometown in Illinois.
Wow.
So it's funny how the world works. And he had been producing a guy named Lee Brice, and
I think he's Lee Brice has done a number one hit too.
Oh, dude, yeah. He's a great dude. I actually just opened up for him up in upstate New York a couple weeks ago, and I was hanging out with Lee on the tour bus, and we were talking about Matt, and yeah, all that. So it's just all that to say, it's crazy how the whole world works, and how the music world is so small. But eventually, how I was led to Matt, it was a blessing, man, because he would tell me, you can do this as a songwriter, you do this. But number one thing is always be yourself, be your, when you're writing songs, write you. Always write you. Don't try to write from somebody else's point of view, because only you are going to be able to write the songs that you are writing, because you experience those things. And so I, cut my teeth at writing songs, and was grinding every day. I was literally writing like 5 songs a week, sometimes 6 songs a week, just getting my feet wet. And I would send those songs to Matt. Any songs that I thought were, pretty good in my ears, I thought were, I'd send them to Matt, and Matt would say, hey, this one's great. I think it needs a little bit of work. Maybe try tweaking this, whatever. And he gave me an A, B, or an F. That's what I like to say. But now he wasn't that brutal. But after a couple years of that, I finally got asked to sign to his management company. And that was an awesome thing, because I put out my first single, which was Town You Never Heard Of, with him. So
that's awesome. And just shout out to my folks upstate New York. I'm an upstate New York guy, and I saw you were just playing out there right outside of Canandaigua there.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we're in Palmyra.
Yep. And right down there, Canandaigua on the lakes. I took my wife there for our first interview. If you ever want to go on a nice vacation with your wife, go to Canandaigua on the lake. I'll take care of you.
All right, man.
Upstate New York is my place. I'm a Buffalo guy. So.
I will say I love upstate New York. The main reason I love it is the people are awesome, but the landscape, like the farm country, it looks just like the Midwest, only more rolling hills.
Yep.
Martville, New York is a place I usually go to a lot, near Syracuse, and
okay, yep.
I've traveled a lot up there too. So.
Yeah.
It's so funny, this upstate New York thing going. I'm Manlius, Casanova, Delmar.
Man, I tell you.
Ellicottville.
Oh, Ellicottville, that's my neck of backyard right there.
I know.
So Eric, you said you mentioned, songwriting. And for me, like, I love music. I love listening to music, and like just piecing it together. Like, I think that is so cool. Like, what's the thought process? You say you write with people. So when you guys, like, I don't know if you do writing camps or not or anything like that, but like when you go and sit, like, do you go in with an idea of what you want, or do you just go in and say, hey, let's shoot ideas around and let's just put pen to paper?
Man, there's a couple ways it's happened. It's probably happened in every single way you can think of with me, because I've walked into a room where There are no ideas thrown out. It's just my buddy on the guitar playing a jam, and we're all kind of like, okay, we can vibe with that. Let's see what we can. Then we start spitballing words. Another way of doing it is one guy has some lyrics already kind of written out, and I go to the piano and just start singing his words over like chords that I feel like that are inspiring to me at the moment. This last week, sorry, the week's not over yet. My bad. It's still Thursday. 2 days ago, I walked into the writing room, and my buddy threw out this idea that I brought to the table like 2 months ago. And it was an idea like I threw out, but I didn't realize like it would be something they would want to write like later on down the road. So he's like, Birgit, you brought up this idea our last writing session. What do you still digging on that? I'm like, I haven't written that idea yet, and I actually still really like that idea. And we started writing it, and it turned out to be a pretty cool song that I'm actually really excited about. And it was just my buddy like playing a guitar riff, like, okay, there's the title, and this is kind of what he's feeling on the guitar with it. And I didn't play any piano at that writing session. Sometimes it is me going to the piano and playing something, or I have a preconceived idea that I voice memoed on my phone. Other times it's you just trust. Like the biggest thing I can say is you trust the process, and that's how the room is every time. And it just somehow works out, man.
Nice.
One way or another, it works out.
Is this an A, B, or an F song?
This one, what song is this? Oh, I thought you meant the one that's playing on the video.
No.
This song,
the one that we're writing.
I think it's gonna be an A once we get like the bridge figured out. The bridge is always a section where like, okay, do we actually need that in there, or have we said everything we need to say?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
When are we going to hear it?
You might hear. I don't know. You might hear it probably early next year, maybe if it makes the
list. You release every 6 weeks, right?
We release every 6 weeks. So
I mean,
the next song.
That's a lot of music that you're.
Oh, it is. It is
like
and,
beyond full-time job here.
Oh man, yeah. Like like people think we're crazy. It's like, how do you do that? And well, first off, I have Matt, my producer and manager, who like kills it. He's just we'll set aside studio dates 3 or 4 months ahead of time because we know we need to get like 2 more songs recorded to put them in the pipeline for like that whole every 6 weeks thing. So like this song we're putting out in August, I think it's the first week in August, is the follow-up to my current single, Love It All Goodbye. So those 2 songs were actually recorded like 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 4 months ago. I think 4 months ago we recorded them.
Okay.
So if that tells you anything, it's like we're always playing.
And Love It All Goodbye was released June 10th.
June 10th.
So it's 3-4 months before you release.
Yep.
And then okay.
Yeah, and sometimes we have what song? One of our songs, we put it out a while back, but I remember specifically that song. It was called New York. And that song we actually had already recorded, but we just went in and like redid vocals, which was not hard to do because we had all the instrumentation recorded. So we were able to do that one like kind of not last minute, but like I'm talking like maybe a month before we actually needed to like put it into the pipeline, because you have to upload songs, and we have a distributor and they send it to Spotify and Apple and like all that stuff, and try to get it as best represented as possible. So
beautiful.
There's a big leader.
Yeah. So you're in Nashville. You're opening now. You're now opening for Stapleton, Luke Bryan, all those like. And is there ever a holy shit moment? Like,
yeah, there is all the time. Like, pinch me out. Like, what the hell is going on? Because I'm so thankful for like where I came from and how my 400 person town led me to playing in this 40,000 person like area sometimes. And then I take it back. Like, sometimes I'm playing like 1,000 person venues. And sometimes like last weekend we played in Wisconsin, we played Country Fest, and that was like a bunch of people. And then this next week for 4th of July, we're playing in Hurricane, West Virginia. It's pronounced Hurricane, not Hurricane. So Hurricane, West Virginia, we're playing for their 4th of July fest, and that brings a good couple hundred people. And I'm just loving every moment and just grateful to be sharing music with the world. So
definitely. Have you played a jamboree in the hills in West Virginia yet?
No, but somebody told me to look that up, man. I've heard a lot about it.
Dude, you can at least go. Just take your wife, go.
Okay.
It's like if you love country music, it's terrific. It's terrific. And then another thing you got to get signed up for. You got to go. You got to play Taste of Country in Buffalo. Yes, all those like this, they just had it 2 weeks ago. Tim McGraw played there. Walker Hayes was there. A lot of good artists come through, and I'm telling you, those Buffalo crowd. Buffalo loves their entertainers, their athletes, and everything like that. So
I love that.
When you met like, a Stapleton or like, so who was your influence? That's the question. Like, who is your influence? Because I listen to your music and I get a feel of it's modern, but it takes me back to 90s country.
Hey, cool, man. I love that. Yeah, I was talking earlier about how I got into music and playing piano and stuff, and didn't even touch on my influences, man. One of my biggest influences from a musician standpoint, I mentioned him earlier, Billy Joel, and Jerry Lee Lewis, Ronnie Millsap, all those piano guys. Later on, it was Phil Vassar, my guy. Yep. Phil Vassar is like, he's the triple threat, man. He's musician, singer, and songwriter, and just a great guy to connect with. I've opened for him a couple times, which was awesome. I really love guys like Chris Cagle. I don't know if you like.
Oh yeah.
Chris Cagle. And you mentioned 90s country, man. Like, man, I go through like John Michael Montgomery, like all that stuff. I remember listening to a lot of guys like even early in the early 2000s, like Rascal Flatts. I know that's pushing more in, from the 90s.
You say that with Rascal Flatts. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off here, but I hear a lot of Rascal Flatts in you.
Hey, thanks, man.
I played your songs for my wife. I was like, you got to listen to this guy. We're having him on the show. And she was like, he sounds like he's Rascal Flatts.
Man, their songs, I tell you, like, it's like there's nothing like freaking listening. I'll put on Rascal Flatts. Actually, we're driving back from Wisconsin. We had like a 12-hour drive, 11-hour drive, I think. And I listened to like almost nothing but Rascal Flatts. I'm pretty sure my band hated me by the time. but I listened to all their albums, man. Like it's just something about them. And they're Gary LaVox, man, being just crazy vocalist he is, and they take me back, man. I'm this baby sitting on the porch.
Yes. I see. I can come and do a duet.
Yeah, I think you guys should do this little duet thing. I think this would be great. I'm not singing.
And then you mentioned, artists because earlier you mentioned Lone Star, and I put my wife onto Lone Star because when we were, we just had our first daughter a year ago on August 12th, and we're coming from a doctor's appointment, and I was singing Mr. Mom.
Oh, gosh.
Paper smells in the Maytag dryer.
Rewind for the 18th
time. Breakfast 6 snaps at night.
Yeah.
So I put her onto Lone Star and everything.
Carpool karaoke, here we come.
We're gonna have to, man. We're gonna have to.
So my background is football, and I've played, 5 years in the NFL. Played with guys like Brett Favre. Played with great talent. And one of the things that you sitting in the locker room, and you ask athletes, I don't know why this is, because this is just the power of music. If you ask an athlete, like, this is the question that's floating around locker rooms. You could play 5 years in the NFL or be a one-hit wonder in music. Which one would you write? And 80% of people will say they want to be a one-hit wonder. What is that with music that like just makes people drawn to it? Like, what is it?
Man, I like, as an artist, I don't want to put anything other than songs. I don't want to put any songs out like any other than like, I just want to have songs that people relate to, that put people in a specific moment, that make people cry a tear, that make people want to listen to it, and they're left a better person after hearing that song. Mm-hmm. And there's just so many emotions that I feel when I listen to like any specific song or something. And I like, it's anything from the melody to the opening intro to whatever, you know, is ear candy to them, and then it just ropes them in, and they just, I don't know, man. It's kind of unexplainable sometimes. Inexplainable. I don't, you know, it's a feeling more than anything.
What was the song you danced to your wife to on your wedding? Was it a country song?
Shameless plug.
Yeah, here's a softball for you. Go for it.
So I wrote a song with a couple buddies of mine. It's called Sometimes Late at Night. And I ended up surprising my wife with it as our first dance at our wedding. And I slipped the CD to the DJ and said, hey, here, can you play this? Instead of, we had Can't Help Falling in Love, which is a great song that we picked out before. But little did she know, I switched it up, and this song, Sometimes Late at Night, was playing, and she was surprised as I'll get out, man. It was I definitely surprised the heck out of her.
That's awesome. I danced to Jason Aldean and Bryan Adams' Heaven.
Yeah, Heaven. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Such a good version, man.
Yes. So from playing football, like, I got, you know, like, Lambeau Field was like, oh my gosh, there's the holy grail of football. Soldier Field is that. Like, where have you played and you're like, wow, this is the holy grail of country music that really gave you goosebumps?
Yeah, I played there pretty recently. Played there out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There's a place called Cain's Ballroom, and this place is like, it reminds you of, and I'm pretty sure back in the day it was like a big Quonset hut like shed, but since then they like redone the floor and like throughout the years they've just been upkeeping this place because it's historical. It's like anywhere from, you know, folks like you know, Patsy Cline to like Jerry Lee Lewis, like all these historical people have played there, and being on that stage, I'm like, man, I had my piano set up, and I was like, man, this is the exact place that Jerry Lee Lewis had his piano set up at one point. And I have goosebumps right now. And I literally just said that in the middle of my show, and I actually played some Jerry Lee Lewis because in the middle of my shows, I do this piano medley. I play Elton John, Billy Joel, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Phil Vassar and Ronnie Millsap, and I just do a big medley of their songs. And yeah, that place that was pretty special for me.
Nice.
Okay, we are going to this concert in Detroit.
Oh, definitely, we are.
I will definitely. I'll keep you all posted. We're waiting on confirmation on it, and I'm definitely gonna let you all know.
Yeah,
so excited.
So, what was the feeling when you first heard your song on the radio, and where were you? How did it happen?
My first time hearing my song on the radio, it was actually in my hometown. I was driving down the highway. And that's Cain's Ballroom. I love that. Love that. That was the stage. Heck yeah. I heard a song of mine called Nothing Better, and my local radio station actually put it in rotation, and it was my very, very, very first song I ever put out as an artist, and it was special, man. I was like, man, that's me, and that could be me. That could be me.
Was there any
When
tears
was that?
shed?
Oh, sorry.
That was in college. That was in college.
Wow.
So that was, I think I wrote the song in high school, like senior year, and
Wow.
it was all by myself. I wrote the song and ended up going into record in this place in Bloomington, Illinois, and this guy, like, he was like half hour away from my college campus, and I would go there. I like booked some late studio time. I racked up the money to do it. I spent a couple $100 to like record this song, and I was like, now I need to do something with this song. So I uploaded it to like iTunes and Spotify on my own, which is kind of a bigger job if you do it on your own. It's a lot easier when you have a team to do it for you now. But then I like sent it out to a bunch of radio stations too. Hustling, man, just Googling submitting songs to radio. And my local radio station picked it up and they played it during the 5 o'clock Fresh Music Hour.
So when did you write your first song? You said that was high school. You've been writing for a long time then.
Well, that was high school was when I started trying my hand at writing. And then in college, I did it a little more because high school, whenever I was like, man, I could really sing and play piano. I started the whole writing thing and had this song, Nothing Better, that, and then in college, I recorded a little, 5 or 6 song EP of some really crappy songs that I wrote myself. And so, yeah, ever since high school, I've been writing. So.
All right. I don't know where Jay went, but so what's your favorite song? Your favorite song of your songs?
Oh my gosh, my favorite song of my songs, because it's just so special to me and how it's been sharing my story and especially my love story with my wife. Sometimes late at night, and that's the song that I used for our wedding, and it's piano driven. It's like there's so many elements to it beyond just the words too. But the words are the most important thing to me. That really, mean everything. And I feel like it's relatable to everybody out there too. So.
Perfect. And I'm sorry, something went wacko here, but I'm back.
Well, I'm playing with my lighting. You've got your
question for you. You're a guy that I think you're a traditional country guy, and you, like I told you, like I get 90s country vibes from you. How does it feel when other artists make that leap from, other than Darius Ruckers, because he's been like really successful in it, and he's like, I would say, serious about it, but there's some artists that I don't think are serious about it, like when Lil Nas X came out with Old Town Road. Do you consider that country, or do you think it's just like what's your thought on something like that?
Man, I can give you kind of how I'll shed some I'll share my point of view on what I think country music is. And I'll start by saying this, first of all, just like, classical music had their different genres or subgenres of classical music, all the way from the beginning to like even now modern classical music. And then you have like all the pop subgenres. Country music definitely has that. And I think country music is a community more than anything, and they're very accepted of what country music has become. If they're really true country music fans,
right?
And that's appreciative of the genre and the roots that have always been there. I think it's really cool that country music has collaborations with artists like Lil Nas and like, I don't know, because Lil Nas kind of has like the R&B thing going on,
right?
But he's also pairing with what was it? Billy Ray Cyrus.
Billy Ray Cyrus, yeah.
Yeah, so they had that collaboration, and then Jimmy Allen has a collaboration with Jennifer Lopez on his album.
And he also has one coming out with The Game as well, Jimmy
Yeah,
Allen.
dude. And Lee Brice just had a collaboration with, oh crap, I'm blanking on their names, but it's a pop group. And I just think it's really cool that we're furthering a genre, just taking it around the world, man. And that's
yeah, definitely. And even Morgan Wallen has a collab with another rapper.
Yeah.
So
I think it all starts country, and then we're just taking it a little further out into the world. Just kind of like I'm taking piano and kind of doing my own thing with country music, and I don't know.
So I could talk to you for another hour, but just a couple minutes, and then we'll let you go. Some quick hitters here for you. And you just first thing that comes to mind, just answer.
You're in trouble now.
Oh, these are like the rapid fire 20 question thing.
Yes. 90s country or bro country? I consider nowadays bro country.
90s.
Yeah, okay, perfect. All right. Ryman or the Grand Ole Opry?
That's tough. Man, like Ryman, because that's where it started.
Okay. Ooh.
Old school.
But there is a part of the Ryman stage circle in the Grand Ole Opry. So
nope. You chose Ryman.
I chose Ryman. That's super special to me.
Broadway or what's it? Old Row?
Broadway or Old Row?
Yeah.
Like Old Row is in
the other strip of bars and stuff that's not quite touristy in Nashville.
Old Row.
Yeah.
Old Row.
I agree with you. Club or dive?
Dive.
Now this might get you in trouble. Aldean or Luke Bryan? One's got to go.
Ooh.
Go. Dude, that's just so tough. I want to.
Okay. Let me do this. I'll make it easy for you. You could only listen to just one of this. This is a list of single artists, and then we're gonna go with group artists. And this is in the broke. First, we're gonna do 4 total. All right.
Yeah.
90s single artists, and then we'll go bro country, as I like to call it, single artists, and then we'll go 90s group, and then now group. All right.
We'll be here for another 30 minutes.
No, this is rapid fire. All right. So with the 90s singles artists, you can only listen to one, and that's it. Dwight Yoakam, Alan Jackson, Garth Brooks, Travis Tritt.
Garth Brooks.
Okay. So now you got Keith Urban, Luke Bryan, Aldean, Luke Combs, and Morgan Wallen.
Oh, man. I got to say Luke Bryan.
Okay.
For very specific reasons. Being a farm kid and just how long I've listened to his music for and just love it all. So
Luke, he does, and I love about him, he does these farm shows.
Yeah, man.
And he did one at this little farm town outside of where I went to college. It's called Fowlerville.
Okay.
He did and he's showing Blake there. Blake's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So for the groups, let's just go Old Dominion, Dan and Shay. Oh boy. Just between Old Dominion, Dan and Shay. I love both. Neither of them have a bad song.
No, they don't, man. Dan and Shay.
Ooh, I would say Old Dominion.
Dude.
I would have gone Old Dominion.
Shay Mooney has a voice. I swear he has perfect pitch, I'm pretty sure. There's just multiple reasons why I picked Dan and Shay, but Old Dominion, it's a really tough pick between those two, man, because I just love the vibe from Old Dominion. The fun and just talented.
All right, let's go for this last one. Brooks and Dunn, Montgomery Gentry, I just went blank. Let's just go with Brooks and Dunn and Montgomery Gentry. Who?
We're okay. We're gonna stick with Brooks and Dunn.
Okay.
Oh my God.
favorite watering hole in Nashville.
Favorite watering hole in Nashville. There's a little place in Berry Hill. It's called Twin Kegs. Twin Kegs. It's just a little like cinder block bar. Like they have Busch
Just
Light.
kind, aren't they?
Seriously, when y'all come down, we're gonna take you there.
I might be down there in Nashville because I'm a big WWE fan, and they're having SummerSlam. It's at Nissan Stadium.
Yeah, dude. Yes. Come on, man.
I might be down. I might hit you up, and we'll go to SummerSlam.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Eric, he's not kidding. He's going to show up at your doorstep.
I don't think you're kidding, man. I come on.
All right, Eric, we really appreciate you coming on the show. This is probably like one of my funnest interviews I've had. I wish, I don't want to put you on the spot. I would say play us out, but I don't want to put you on the spot. But love your music. I love it all. Goodbye. I think in today's world, you need someone, that can be that support for you. Something to drink about. Another one of my favorites. Town You've Never Heard Of. Definitely one of my favorites that resonates with me. So I'm sure Deb has her favorites as well too. But really appreciate you jumping on.
Man,
I do really like the the Cadillac. Town You Never Heard Of. Those are, I love it all. Goodbye. I've been listening to that every time I Google you. That's the song that comes up now.
That means a lot. That's like, it usually is like a song back, and like the fact that song pops up first means a lot, because that means it's touched a lot of people, and that it has that Google search engine thing happening, and like that pops up first. That's awesome.
Isn't that so strange? I just said when I Google you, this comes up.
It's crazy.
Isn't that cool?
I don't take it personally.
No, but it's like it's awesome.
You're Googleable.
I'm Googleable. Man, yeah, y'all, I appreciate your support, and thanks for having me. And I don't have my keyboard roped in yet, but that place in my heart I'll always remember. Saturday bonfires burning, forever church choir singing, someday hallelujah.
Yes. I love it. Thank you so much, Eric, for joining us. Really appreciate it. This was probably the best interview I've had. We kicked back, and when I'm in Nashville, I call it Nash Vegas. When I'm in Nash Vegas, Busch Lights are on me.
Come on, man. You don't have to get all of them, but I at least want to have one Busch Light with you, man. So cheers.
Definitely. Appreciate you. Thanks for jumping on with us.
Thank y'all. See you, Dad. Thank y'all.